All right. Let's go with being rich and bribery. Here's the thing about bribery and the price that comes with it. Being rich and bribery that comes with it. Okay? Here's one thing about being bribed in bribery. Okay? Let's say you got a job, you invested in something like, let me tell you the difference between uh, being rich and being wealthy. Okay? Being rich means having a lot of money. Okay? Being wealthy means this. You don't have a lot of money. You have a lot of money to help you. You're signing a contract, but you're signing a contract to pay bills differently from everybody else. You're not paying bills like everybody else. So let's say, for example, like the tenant pays a lot of money to keep his home. Pays a lot of money to the landlord to keep his home. The landlord collects the money, but the landlord does not keep the money like that. Like they keep the money, but the money doesn't, the landlord keeps the money for a while, but the landlord only keeps the money. The landlord only keeps the money to the landlord only keeps the money to give to the bank. Like it never stays with them forever. So they're rich, but at the same time they're not 100% rich. Like they got to pay the rent, like this kind of rent to somebody. Like they got to pay that kind of money back to somebody. They got to pay that money to the bank. So that's how investing works. You got to pay that much money to them. And that kind of bill they got to pay even more money, like around like $60,000 back to the bank. Like since they don't have to pay rents or utilities, they have to pay like $16,000 to the bank every like 30 years. Every 30 years. Like every 30 years. Like once every 30 years. So yeah. That's how paying rent works on the tenants and the landlord side. That's the difference between rich and wealthy. Like rich got to pay rent, landlord collects it and puts and gives even more rent and utilities to the bank once every 30 years. So yeah. So let's get to bribery. Let's say you got a lot of money and the rich and wealthy decides to give decides to the rich person decides to give a lot of money to the bribee. All right? The briber decides to give a lot of money to the bribee. Here's the thing. There is a reason why the rich stays rich. Okay? The rich stays rich because they act poor. And the poor stays poor because they act rich. So, yeah. And another thing, when it comes to and another thing is like, how do I say this? Another thing is, this is how I say this. So the thing about bribing is like, the reality of it is that you can only bribe somebody and bribe so many people for so long. You can only bribe somebody for so long, and you can only bribe so many people. Like, no matter how much money you have, there will be a time where you're going to have to tell somebody, "Hey, I ain't got it like that." Or you're going to have to tell somebody like, "Hey," you're going to have to set some boundaries like, "Hey, I may have a lot of money, but I can run out. I can be poor." Like, money doesn't grow on trees, bruh. Like, seriously. Because here's the thing about the bribe. People are not always going to use their money to make it last long. They're not always going to make their money to... They're not always going to make their money to stay rich and all that. Or make their money to invest. Like, sometimes they're going to make their money from like, most of the time, how most poor people are like, they're gonna use their money for materialistic things like clothes, food, like, and I'm not talking just about like food that you need. Like, yeah, sometimes they're gonna use it for rent, sometimes they're gonna use it for food that you need, but sometimes they just want to eat out. Sometimes they want to use it for materialistic things like clothes, shoes, shopping, and all that stuff. Most people are going to be irresponsible with their money, and they're just going to use you for a sugar daddy. Okay? If you ask most people what they would do if they found out if their friends were rich, if they found out if a friend of theirs is rich, they would straight up take advantage of them. They would straight up use that friend to pay for all their meals. They would straight up kill him for his money, but they wouldn't say it on camera. Let me tell you some of that. They wouldn't say none. They wouldn't say that. They would definitely kill him for his money. They wouldn't say that though. They wouldn't say it on camera. But if you were to ask them, watch their facial expressions, and watch their body language. Watch their micro expressions too. It'll tell you a lot. But yeah. But most people are like that. Yeah. Like, most people are money hungry. Okay, they will use you. Most people will use you for your money. Too many fake friends. Even family will use you for your money. Okay, even family will use you for your money. Okay? Even family will use you for your money. It don't matter who it is. Okay? Like, once you get a lot of money, you're going to have to cut off most people in your life. You're going to have to cut off most people in your life. Trust me on that. To what I'm saying on bribery. Okay? You can only bribe so many people in your life. You can only bribe one person for so long. to the point where you will eventually have to tell this person, hey, you're on your own. I'm done being your sugar daddy. I'm done being your sugar mommy. Like, you're on your own for that. If you won't stop, if you, like, you on your own for that. So, because when you be bribing people, people will not stop asking you for money. Majority of people will not stop asking you for money. And then when you be going out of your way trying to keep somebody, like when you trying to go out of your way, like, and then when you're the bribee asking somebody for money like that, you gotta remember, like, somebody ain't got you. Somebody is not gonna be looking after you 24/7, gonna be bribing you 24/7 like that. Not even the richest of the richest is gonna care for you 24/7. They can only care for you for so long. They can only care for you for so long. So like you can, so how do I say this? So it's like, how do I say this? Not even the richest of the richest is gonna back you up 24/7 because they need their money too. All right. Okay, like, they want to keep their money too. So eventually they're going to be telling you, hey, you're on your own. Okay, I'm not going to be giving it to you like that. I may have a lot of money, but my money don't grow on trees. It don't grow like that. I ain't got it like that. Like, okay, I can only bribe so many people. I can only bribe so many people. I can only bribe one person for so often. Like, all right, like, one person can only pay somebody so much, and they can only pay so many people for so they can only pay so many people for so long, especially if they are the stingy kind. So yeah. So when you bribing or when you want to be bribed, please think about this. It is not a good idea because you will eventually run out of money. And when you're the bribee, you will eventually be on your own and you will have nobody to back you up. All right? Or when you're the briber and the bribee, reality is going to hit. And then you're going to realize that you are human just like everybody else. And God has power over everybody else. And He's richer than everybody else. And He is. So, yeah. God is above all laws. He's above everybody. He's above the highest of the highest. So, yeah. God bless.